فاعلم أنه لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. So inshallah, as we have checked, mashallah, all of you have done your 50 sentences.
Yeah.
Excellent. Those of you following along at home, please make sure you've done your 50 sentences. Jumla fi'liya, jumla ismiya. Those of you that are advanced students, make i'rab, like put, this is the fi'l, this is the fa'il, this is the mubtada, this is the khabar. Now, we're going to go over the ayat that were in the book. And as I told Abdul Rahman, we're going to go over all of those ayat, inshallah ta'ala. But I wanted to introduce some subjects as far as mubtada and khabar and jumla, ismiya and marfu'at, so that while we go over the ayat, you can also start to take things apart in the grammar, not just the meaning. So it can be a double benefit in the class.
Are these ayat from the book?
Yes, that is from the first lesson. Yeah, we did a couple of the ayat already, like as-sulh khair, so we will not do that again, but the other ayat we will do inshallah ta'ala. Tayyib, the first ayah here, I'm going to ask you guys, because we actually did cover this ayah already, but as practice, Ja'ala Allah, now, Abdul Mateen, Ja'ala,
Why not the
to
first
make,
one?
because you're -0. So if you got it, then everybody else got it.
No.
Ja'ala means to make. Now, tell me, what kind of jumla would this be? If the first word is the fi'l, to make. Did you know the Mateen?
No.
Put your hand down. Amar. The fi'liya, excellent, yes. So, if this is a jumla fi'liya, it must begin with what? Fi'l. So where is your fi'l?
Ja'ala.
Okay, excellent. You guys are making Arab ayat already, mashallah. What does it mean?
He made.
Made. Tayyib. Now, and I mean these translations are close meanings of the ayat. I mean, we're not doing this to translate the Quran. If you want to look at translation, you have Mohsen Khan and Sahih International and all of that. We're here just trying to learn words and put them together. So, this is going to be to the close meaning of the translation. Tayyib. If you have a fi'l, then you must have what?
Fa'il.
Fa'il. Where is the fa'il?
Allah.
The lafzul jalala. The word here, Allah, which is the lafzul jalala, this is your fa'il. Meaning who made it? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tayyib? So, this is the word Allah, which is translated as Allah. Tayyib. Al-Kaaba. Now, I want you guys to make some Arab, some harakat for me. Al-Kaaba. Two. Raise your hand. Don't let out. Should this be two, ta, or t? Shaykhuna Hafiz Abdul Qadir Gailani. Fatha ala ta. Tayyib. I know you're Hafiz and you may know that already, but why? Why? Why Fatha? Why not Dhamma? I was in Mauritius. It's a little island off the kind of close to Madagascar, and I was Ramadan. I was praying behind this Imam, and he read, and I forgot which ayah it was, but he read it wrong. He read it خلق samawat 2, right? And I heard it, and it was something with khalaqa and samawat 2, and I thought that's incorrect. It has to be samawat ta or samawat ti. It cannot be 2 because
it can be ta and it can be 2 either.
it cannot be 2.
السماوات
Exactly. So I corrected him from behind, right? And he continued to read it wrong. And after Salah, he got the mushaf and he sat down with me, and he realized he was wrong. And he told me, "Are you Hafiz?" I said, "No." He says, "How did you know that this was wrong?" I said, "Because the samawat don't create." So when you know the Arab, then you can correct ayat that you may not even know, because the Arab will not fit. Tayyib. So it is ta, but why?
because it's a maf'ul bihi.
مفعول به. Excellent. MashaAllah. طيب. Al-Kaaba is the Kaaba. You know what it is, right? Everybody know what the Kaaba is?
Yes.
Good. If you didn't, I'd be worried. So Allah made the Kaaba. Now, Al-Bayt. How will we make Arab of this? Bayta, Bayti, Baytu.
It's fat.
Okay, I see some khilaf bain al-ulama. Who thinks Baytu? Raise your hand. Don't just raise your hand because I said raise your hands. All right. My two sons and Umar have both, or all three, disappointed me. Who thinks Bayta? Okay, just because you're Hufan and because you took my class already and because you're really smart. Okay, Bayta. You're really smart too. I just had to change it up, right? Bayta.
Okay, I know I'm not smart.
But why? Why Bayta?
Same reason, because maf'ul bihi.
Okay, so that's
Allah is the fa'il, and
excellent.
al-bayt is the maf'ul bihi that has been created by Allah.
Now, if you were really a beginning student, I would have accepted that, but you're not, so I won't. So this is your maf'ul bihi. If this is also your maf'ul bihi, that would mean the Kaaba and al-Bayt are two different things. But they're not. So this is what we call badal. And I know I haven't really introduced that here, but I am now. So badal means it is in the same place. It is a replacement. Meaning you could have said جعل الله بيت الحرام or جعل الكعبة الحرام.
Right.
But Bayt here is an addition to. Now regularly it would be Baytul Haram without the al. Right? Regularly you see Baytul Haram, Baytul Muqaddas. But here you have a al because badal is tawabi'. It is following. And I'm going to introduce all these concepts later for the other students, don't worry. And it has to match what it is going to be in place of. So badal takes the i'rab of whatever it is it taking the place of. So if this was 2, this would have been 2. If this was t, this would have been t. But because this is ta, and this is badal. Tayyib. Now, al-haram, how will we make i'rab of this? Haramu, harami, harama. Harama. Excellent. Why? Come on, Abdurrahman. My smart. It's
Because
not
it follows
badal.
the pattern.
This is
Haram is badal?
This is not man'ud.
It's not. Or sifa.
That's from the tawabi. That's what I meant. Tawabi.
Excellent. It is from the tawabi'. Al-haram is a description. It is something holy where it's haram to do things that would be halal regularly. So when you have sifa or badal, they both are tawabi'. They have to make tab'a. Ittaba' of what's before it. So haram is explaining al-bayt. It's a sifa. What kind of a house is it? It is a sacred house. Tayyib. Now, when you translate in Arabic, it's a little difficult because the order of words change. Like in Arabic, you would say he. In English, you would say he ran. But in Arabic, the fi'l comes first, right? So if you were to say, let's say, Harun hit. So in English, you would say Harun hit him, right? But in Arabic, you say daraba Harun, right? So you will say daraba first. So that's why when you translate, you have to look at how to put it together. So here, in English, you would put Allah first, but in Arabic, made would come first. Allah made the Kaaba the sacred house, right? So this is the meaning for the words. Do you guys know the words?
I know him.
Some.
Which ones do you not know?
Oh,
You don't know all of those?
I know all those.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say we're in trouble, bro. Okay, if you know all of those, then you know them. So now, next time you hear this ayah, or if you hear these words, ja'ala in the Quran, or the The name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala you should know anyway. Kaaba. Al-Bayt. What does Al-Bayt mean? House. Haram. What does it mean? Sacred. Haram can also mean forbidden. But that, like I said, there is a bab of tafsir which you don't have to worry about yet, inshallah. So now when you hear, and these are ayat from the Quran, when you hear these words, you should try to be able to put together some meaning to them. And when you hear it, Allahu, after a fi'l, then you know this is the fa'il. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who is the one being told that he did something. So now you can also start understanding the grammar of what's being said. This is a beginning step. This is a beginning class. You guys are doing really advanced stuff, mashallah. But if you stick with the class, inshallah, like Abdurrahman, you can take ayat from anywhere in the Quran and start making i'rab of them by the end of the class, inshallah ta'ala. Tayyib. Now we did this ayah as well, but we'll do it again for practice. Fa akhada. Tayyib. Fa is from the huruf like wow, that do atf, that join. There is a lot of types of fa. We'll get into that later inshallah, but for now don't worry about fa. Akhada, hum. Tayyib. So akhada, what does akhada mean? See? Tayyib. Excellent. So to take, this is to take, but this is madi, right? This is al-madi, this is the past tense. So, took. Took. Hum. What does hum mean? Them. What does hum mean?
Them.
Abdul Mateen, what does hum mean? Them. Hum means? Excellent. What's your name again? Habib. Habib Galbi. Tayyib. What does hum mean? Them. So when you find hum in the Quran, what does it mean? Them. These dama'ir are used a lot in the Quran. Huwa, hum, hunna, huma. So you need to get used to them. This is where we're getting our practice into the ayat. Tayyib. Took them. At-tufanu. What does tufan mean? This was one of your vocabulary words. Not Abdurrahim. You're advanced. Not Abdurrahman. Ibrahim. Storm. The storm, because it's got a al. Tayyib. Wa and hum zalimun. No. Tayyib. And they, right? In Arabic you don't have to add were, but in English we would. Were zalimun. What does zalim mean? An oppressor, somebody who's oppressive, wrongdoer. Now, oppressors, because it is jama'. Zalim would be one, zalimun is many. Tayyib. So now, from these words, فَأَخَذَهُمْ الطُّوفَانُ وَهُمْ ظَالِمُونَ. Any of these words you don't get. Zalim, Tufan was one of your vocabulary words, right? You got them, bhai? You got these words? All of them? You sure?
Yeah.
Excellent. Let's make i'rab. Let's have some fun now. To me, i'rab is really fun. So. Tayyib. Now, akhada is what? Is it an action or is it a name?
Action.
It's an action. So this is a, Fariq, what is it? No. An action, a verb. He's trying to help you. Fi'l. Fi'l. An action. Like a jumla fi'liya begins with a fi'l, right? Excellent. Hum. This is actually maf'ul bihi, but it's a damir, so we'll leave that for now. Tufanu. Fariq, you thought I was going to let you off with that? Tayyib, if you have a fi'l, you must have a subject. If you have an action, you must have a
Actor.
actor. Tayyib. And Umar, help your dad out. What is that called? Huh? Khabar is mubtada khabar, right? Fi'l, you have a
Fine.
fa'il. Excellent. So every fi'l, when you have a jumla fi'liya, must have a fa'il. Excellent. And wahum, we'll leave the damir out. Zalimun, and they were zalimun. In actuality, this is your mubtada, this is your khabar. It's marfu bil waw, but we'll leave that for now, inshallah. Tayyib. Everybody got the meaning here?
That's 2 sentences, right?
It is 2 sentences. Tayyib. Now this is a very deep ayah. This, I could speak for like a few hours to make tafsir of this ayah, but I won't. So I'm going to leave it at inna. You know what inna is, right? Verily, indeed, surely, whatever. Na is damir for us, right? Nahnu means us again, and there is another damir here. Nazzalna, the noon again is a damir towards us. So this has a lot of what's called balagha, like beautiful eloquence. Here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala points back at himself 3 times right here. Nazzalna is another damir, 4th. And you only needed 1. But why? To show that the Quran is not from anybody except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No doubt, this is not from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's not from Jibreel by himself. Jibreel alayhi salam only brought it to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It is not from the old books or anything else. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is really emphasizing that it was us that revealed the Quran. A dhikr here is the Quran. But leaving the balagha out of it, if we say we revealed or sent down the remembrance. So, a dhikr is a remembrance. When you make dhikr, you remember something, right? So here, nahnu, nazzal is your fi'l, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the damir that's pointing back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is your fa'il, and the dhikr is mansoob because it is maf'ool what? Bihi. Excellent. Tayyib. This is an easy one now, and we did this already. Tayyib? Is it going to be Muhammadu, Muhammadun, Muhammadin, Muhammada, Muhammad? Muhammadun. Now when you connect it, it'll become Muhammadur. Now, have you noticed when people give the adhan, do they say Muhammadur Rasulullah or Muhammadar Rasulullah? But we just said it's Muhammadur, so why is it? And you know the answer to this. No, you already know the answer to this. It's an easy question. Yes. Okay. Can you tell me the wording? Ashhadu anna. And anna is from the ikhwat of inna. Inna. We discussed how inna makes its, it's the ism of inna. And inna makes its ism what? Mansoob. It puts a fatha on it, right? Maftuh. So here, it's in the adhan, it's Muhammad Dar because of inna. But regular it's Muhammadur. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. And many brothers make this mistake back and forth. And if you know Nahu, you won't make that mistake. Tayyib. Muhammadur Rasulullah. Tayyib. Everybody knows the meaning. Abdul Mateen knows the meaning of this, right? Muhammad. Oh yeah. Go ahead, Abdul Mateen. Messenger of Allah. Excellent. So, now, Mukarram bhai, what kind of a sentence is this? Jumla fi'liya or jumla ismiya? Jumla Ismiya. Excellent. How did you know that?
Because of the
Because it began with an ism. Excellent. So the name Muhammad, referring to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, is what here? Al Mubtada. And how do you know that? It is marfu' with Dhamma. Right? Now, when you have Al Mubtada in Jumla Ismiya, you must have what, Umar? Al Khabar. Excellent. So where is your Khabar? Maybe it's a big red outline that I just made. Al Khabar is Rasul. So it's telling you, what is this sentence, this ayah in the Quran telling you that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the messenger. But now you have this mudaf ilayh. It also tells you whose messenger is it? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We haven't done mudaf ilayh yet, so don't worry about it. Anybody confused about the meanings here? No. Yes, you're confused.
No, I'm not. Can I ask you to step
Go ahead.
back just a minute? In
Go
the
ahead.
Adhan, you said that Muhammad would be maf'ul bihi, right?
No.
Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah.
Ashhadu anna, you are making shahada. But
Right.
then you're making a statement. And here, Muhammad is your mubtada. Because you are not doing anything to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You are making a statement. So your statement is a jumla in itself. So Muhammad there is al mubtada.
So ashhadu is fa'il, right?
Yes.
And then anna is fa'il.
No.
No.
Fa'il is you. Ashhadu. When you use
So what is
a
anna?
anna is tawkeed, like inna.
Oh, here. Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
وياكم. طيب. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the messenger of Allah. You know what's amazing? Like you may notice it through the durus. It takes a lot more to write something in English than it does in Arabic. Like you only have 3 words here, and it's giving this whole meaning with more emphasis than we can in English. And that's why like translations of Arabic books are usually really big. Because Arabic is a beautiful language that in few words can give very deep meaning. Tayyib. So everybody understood all of these ayat, right? Any word that we've covered so far that you don't understand? If it is, stop me. We'll go back to it. No? Tayyib. Now, the next ayah. Inna. We discussed inna already, right? So what is inna? Emphasis. You're making emphasis. Verily, indeed, definitely, whatever. So this is inna, which is a harf. Tayyib. Shirk. What does shirk mean? To associate something. Like here we're talking about associating partners with Allah. So make an association where you associate somebody with something or incorporate somebody with something. So inna shirka la dhulmun azim. Tayyib. This lam is for tawqeed, for emphasis. Don't worry about it right now. But shirka dhulmun azim. What do these words mean? Inna and the lam are for emphasis, so we can leave those out. That's just to emphasize the meaning.
Verily associating.
Excellent. Verily,
Verily associating
performing shirk or associating with Allah.
is something very
Dhulm.
bad. Dhulm.
Dhulm, it's an oppression.
But it's a bad
Azim,
one.
a great oppression, the greatest oppression. You know when you talk about oppressing somebody, like taking somebody's right? Like let's say if Harun just got his paycheck from work and he's happy, he's about to go home and take his family out to a halal restaurant, and I walk up and hit him on the back of the head and take his check and run away. Now when he comes to the masjid and he tells you, Uthman, you did dhulm on me, right? You oppressed me, you took my haqq. So you guys will say that this inshallah won't happen, but because if I do, it won't be like a head. Anyway, but you would say Uthman is a zalim because he did dhulm. What dhulm did I do? I took your haqq. That check belonged to you. I took it, right? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that verily shirk is the greatest dhulm. This is the worst dhulm. Why? Because who deserves the haqq more than anybody? It's Allah. Even his check is still really from Allah. So Allah deserves the right to be worshipped alone. And when we take that right of Allah and give it to somebody else, a grave, a wali, a monkey, a man on a cross, a white guy, little speedos, whatever, all of that, that is the worst dhulm you can make. That is the worst. That is worse than stealing, worse than killing, worse than, going and burning down houses. All of those are bad. I'm not saying it's okay to do any of those. All of those are bad. But the worst dhulm is to take the haqq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and make shirk with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tayyib. Now, everybody understand the words? The base meaning, shirk. You know what shirk means? Everybody good? You know what dhulm means? Amar, you good? Alright, good. Azim. You know what it means? Alright, you think so? Alright. Then the fact that you're Arab and you've studied Nahu and Arabi, make Arab of it now. Oh, you thought I was just going to ask you the meaning? Come on, bro.
إن's توكيد يعني
طيب. Leave inna and leave lam.
الشركة الظلم العظيم جملة اسمية.
جملة اسمية. طيب, what is this then?
That's your مبتدأ.
Oh, but there's a problem here. You just told me this is your mubtada, but it's not marfu'.
Because the inna is right.
Excellent, excellent. Because of inna stepped on the scene, took over the block, and made shirk maftuh, put a fatha on it. Even though it's in the place of being marfu' because it is the mubtada. Excellent. Dhulmun.
That's your khabar.
That's your khabar. Excellent. And how did you know that?
It's marfu'.
It's marfu'. Excellent. And azim. What is that? Oh, I already wrote it up there.
Sifa.
It's a sifa of dhulm. It's telling you it's the worst dhulm, right? Nakira, right? So, this is easy, but these words, shirk, dhulm, these are used azim in the Quran a lot. So if you really know the meanings, all of these words are going to start opening up ayat to you. Everybody good on these? Tayyib. Next. B, harf jar, right? Which we can say in, yad, hand, ka, yours,
In your hand.
khair. What does yad mean? Hand. B, in or with, ka. Ka is referring to somebody. We haven't done damair yet, so don't worry about it too much. But this khair, what does khair?
Good.
Good. Excellent. Everybody know the word khair now?
Yes.
Tayyib. Now, anybody want to take a shot at what kind of a jumla is this? Or is it even a jumla? Is it a complete jumla? Yes, Musa.
Is Jumla Ismiya?
It is jumla ismiya. MashaAllah, your father must be proud that you can guess really well. So, where is your khabar?
Al-Khair?
Excellent. Man, maybe you're not guessing.
I'm not.
MashaAllah. Your khabar is khair. So, where is your mubtada? Yad. Yes, you're right. Excellent. Good job. Now, why is your khabar majroor? Because of the ba. The huruf, some of them don't have an effect. Some of them join, like atf. Some of them, they have effect. And huruf al-jar have a very strong effect. They're very strong. We used to study nahu and we used to study al-falsafa fil lugha, yani the philosophy behind language and why some huruf do things and other huruf don't. And it's a very interesting subject to look at. Many huruf, they don't have an effect. Many huruf, they have a very strong effect. Huruf al-jar will pretty much overpower everything. If you have a harf al-jar, unless it's mamnu min as-sarf, then it makes it with a fatha, but still majroor. Or if it's like غير munsarif, like Musa, Isa, then it can't do anything. But anyway, so advanced stuff, but it's alright. طيب هذا حلال وهذا haram. This, in English we'll have to put it is, what does halal mean? Permissible. And hada, and this is haram, forbidden. Everybody knew that, right? Look at that, mashallah, you guys knew all of that. Now, let's make some a'rab. First thing, is this jumla ismiya, jumla fi'liya? What type of jumla is it? Ismiya. Excellent. Yusuf, come on, man, you gotta step up. Brother has got something. Tayyib. Where is your ism? Where is your mubtada? Jumla ismiya should start with the ism. Al-mubtada.
هذا.
هذا. Tayyib. This is your mubtada. We have a problem. Why isn't it marfu'?
Is that an ism?
It's not ism. Alright, so then is it a jumla ismiya?
Yes, it is.
But it's not a ism. How is it a jumla ismiya? Where's your
Is it
mubtada?
because the ism is hidden?
Oh,
It's a hidden?
Is it because
What did you say, Abdurrahman?
اسم الإشارة.
It's ism ishara. There are ذَلِكَ هَذَا. There are certain words that are pointers. Hada, this. And ism ishara doesn't change. So here, hada will stay hada, but this is your mubtada. Where is your khabar? Halal. How do you know it's your khabar? It's marfu'. So now, very easy. What type of jumla is this second one now?
فعلية.
Alright, good job Abdurrahman, you've disappointed me. Hada obviously is your mubtada and haram is your khabar. This is jumla ismiya. These are two jumlas that are in the ayah together. Yes, I know you knew that. Tayyib. So now, these were the ayat on your first page. I want everybody to get comfortable with these ayat. We're going to go over all of the ayat in the subject. Yes.
Shirk is not an action.
Shirk, if you say sharaka, that's an accent. That's an action. But when you put the sukoon, and this, if it wasn't for the inna, it would have been marfu'. It is a noun derived from an action. You see? Like, to run is a verb.
Right.
But running
Running.
is a subject now. Like, for example, he wrestled him. That's an action. Wrestling, that's not an action, that is a name given to a sport. So in that way, shirk is an ism. But to perform shirk is an action. You feel me?
Yes.
Tayyib. To draw is an action. But art
Right.
is a ism, or drawing. Right? Now if I said, this is a drawing, is that an action? No, it's an ism. But if I said, he's drawing, that would be an action. So if you say, sharaka, he did it, that would be a fi'l. But shirk is the concept that is pulled out of the fi'l. And it's called mushtaq. Yani when you take, in the Arabic language, there's a huge, beautiful debate amongst people of Nahu whether asma came from af'al or af'al from asma. But the stronger opinion is the af'al are the original. Right? So, most of the asma come from af'al. They come from actions, right? So, not all, because there are names, like people's names that don't and stuff, but some of them do. Like, if I said, Wasim. Wasim, what does it mean, Yusuf?
Wasim means handsome.
Very handsome. It's a mubalagha, right? Wasama, then you can go to your root word, that would be to make something beautiful, right? Jameel. Jamala is an action, Jameel is an ism. So most of the asma, you can track the root word back to, for example, Islam. Islam is an ism. right? It's a religion, but it comes from a fi'l, aslama, right? So in that way, sharaka would be the fi'l and shirk would be the ism that we take out of it. We'll have a lot of fun with taking out and finding how to change it. We're going to get to it, inshallah. Tayyib. Now, I want to start going over some other concepts now, because mashallah, you guys are doing so well, and you're so advanced, and you're feeling bored, and you're not challenged enough in this class. So,
Who said that?
a little birdie, I didn't like you guys. Somebody said 50 sentences weren't enough, Abdurrahman.
I didn't
So,
say that.
what? I just said somebody said 50 sentences are not enough, and then I paused and said, Abdurrahman, I don't think I'm the one that's going to get jumped.
So you're gonna get
So,
Who's gonna keep your
We'll edit that out.
Alright, brothers, nobody touches Abdurrahman. He keeps
All of a sudden the video pauses.
So we went over marfu'at. What does marfu'at do?
Shows its natural state.
They make something in a state of rafa, marfu'. Now, a natural state is rafa, but it could change. Marfu' could take something that's not in a natural state of rafa and make it marfu', because now you made it the ism or you made it the khabar. But there are also mansubat, which make something mansub, which for now is just putting al-fatha, right? Now there are other ways to make something marfu and mansub, and we'll get into that, but for now, let's just say when you put the fatha at the end. We discussed one of them in great detail already. What was it?
Fuat.
Good job, you can read. Maf'ul bihi. When something is being done to, it becomes mansub. Tayyib? I'll give my famous example, which I kid you not, is used in a lot of books. Daraba. Oh, easy, bro. To hit, right? Daraba.
Use pop.
Uthmanu.
Throw that away.
Tayyib. So, if I just wrote it up to here, right? What type of sentence is this? Fi'liya. Excellent. Where is your fi'l? What does daraba mean? Now, if you have a jumla fi'liya, what must you have? Fa'il. Who is your fa'il here?
Uthman.
Tayyib. Now, some af'al, actions, don't need somebody to have that action done to. For example, if I said Qama Faruqu, Faruq stood up. What is your fi'l? Qama. Who did it? Faruq. He is your fa'il. Do you need a maf'ul bihi? No. He's the one standing. He's not doing that action to anybody else. But if you say Daraba Uthmanu, right? Now, who did I hit?
I don't know.
I can tell you, man.
Zayd,
man.
Everybody knows this.
And I'm not even kidding, man. You can go look up the Arabic grammar books. They all have Zayd as an example, man.
I thought you were gonna say, look at Zaid's face.
Yeah. Tayyib. So now, who's the one that got beat up? Zayd. This is your
Maf'ul bihi.
maf'ul bihi. And I'll tell you why Zayd's a good name, because it's munsarif. Zaydun, Zaydan, Zaydin. Uthman, for example, it's not Uthmanun. It's mamnu min sarf. So when it becomes majroor, it's Uthmana. So that's why it's difficult. Like Yusuf is also Yusafa. It won't become Yusafi. So that's why Zayd and these kinds of names are used a lot. Tayyib. Now, when you have this type of a sentence, you have a fi'l, a fa'il, and a maf'ul bihi. A maf'ul bihi is always going to be what? Mansoob. Because that is one of the things that makes an ism mansoob. And it's very important. Because in the Quran, you will see with af'al who is the one doing and who is the one being told or done to. And that tells you clearly, without having to put he said to him, without all these things, right? In the Bible, for example, especially the English, they have a lot of confusion. There'll be a verse in the Bible, they'll say, well, we're not sure if God is speaking to the children of Israel or David is. Like, well, what do you mean you're not sure? You know? I mean, how can you make that? And it's like, maybe God inspired David, maybe Satan did. What? how do you guys not know? Because they don't have Arab. So sometimes statements are very vague. But in Arabic, due to Arab, alhamdulillah, you can always be sure who's being spoken to, like the difference in gender. I'll give you an example. Fariq, if you're speaking English, I'm sure you speak some English, right? You're good? Alright. And you're speaking to one man, and you want to say to him, you did this, right? How would you say it? You did this.
You did it.
Excellent, you did it. If you're speaking to a female, then?
You did it.
I would still say you if I'm talking directly to her.
Excellent. So you would say?
You did it.
Okay. What if you're speaking to two guys?
They did it.
You did it still.
Not they, you're speaking directly to them.
Oh yeah, you did it.
You did it?
Yeah.
What if you're speaking to a lot of guys?
Y'all did it.
Yeah.
You all did it.
Or you could still say you did it. You know, the whole group. You did it. You know, that was your gang, your group, your fiqh, whatever, your political party. You could say you all did it as well. But in the end, you're just going to use the word you. For one man, it's you. For one woman, it's you. For two men, it's you. For many men, it's you. For many women, it's you. So if you are saying you did it, do I know if you're talking to men or women? Do I know if you're talking to a group or a person? Do I know? But in Arabic, if it was one man, you would say anta. Say? If it's one woman, you will say anti. If it's two men, you say antuma. If it's many men or it's mixed, then antum. If it's many women, then antunna. Now, I don't have to tell you I was speaking to women. Just by the way I said it, you will know whether I'm speaking to a man or a woman, a group or a single or two people. And that's the beauty of the Quran. When you read Surah Yusuf and you talk about the women cutting their hands, it didn't have to say women, but the tenses that are used can tell you it was women and it was a group and they were cutting, and that's beautiful. That's why the Quran's message is so well preserved, because of Arabic grammar, and obviously this is all from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but what is the means is the grammar, and that's why it's very important for us to understand it. Now, if I wrote this backwards, for example, if I said in English, Fariq beat Abdurrahman, طيب? Who got hit? Who was the one doing the hitting? طيب. What if I switched it up? I said Abdurrahman beat Fariq. Now what happened?
Fariq got beat.
Right? Now, I switched this up in Arabic right now. The same way, I switched it up. Daraba Zaydan Uthmanu. Now who got beat?
Zayd.
Wait, Zayd.
Did you say Uthman got beat? Are you crazy? You my son or what? Who got beat?
Zayd.
But I switched it up.
But it's still the same because of the Fatha Kasra and the...
Excellent. See? This makes sure you know who did what, even if you switch it up. And the Quran, you will see taqdeem with ta'khir. Like things will come forward and back. Now why would you do that?
Emphasis?
Emphasis. Like if I said Uthman beat Zayd, and you were like, what? No way, Zayd's buff, he works out, he's young, he jogs, he got the boxing down, he took jiu-jitsu, there's no way. And I'm like, no man, I'm telling you, Uthman beat Zayd. You're like, no way man, Zayd's not the one that... I'm telling you, Zayd, man, Zayd, Uthman, he's the one that beat him, it's Zayd. Like, you see I brought Zayd forward now? To put the emphasis. Now that happens in Arabic as well, right? To show you, if you have some doubt who's the one that Uthman was in a fight with or whatever, you can bring it ahead. And we'll explain taqdeem wa ta'khir later inshallah as well. But the point I'm making is, from the i'rab, even if you change the places, you will know who did what. And that's beautiful. Tayyib. There are 5 maf'ulat, but we don't have time to cover all of them today. Instead, I will go over the low-hanging fruit and explain some very easy things to you. Tayyib. Inna and kana. Which one was blood? Which one was cribs, man? I forgot. We'll just switch it up. I don't remember which one was who, so I'm going to make kana bloods today. Inna is going to be the cribs. Tayyib. Now, when you have inna and kana, what do they do to their ism? Excellent. I know I'm trying to throw you a bone now. Zayd. Inna Zayd Jamil. Tayyib. Verily, Zayd is handsome. Sorry for beating you. I'm helping you now, alright? Tayyib. So here, is it going to be Inna Zaydun Jamilan? Or is it going to be Inna Zaydan Jamilun? Or what? Zaydan Jamil Lun. So what happened? Inna made its ism mansoob. Right? You guys with me?
Yes.
Habib, you good?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Alright. Since you're good. Kana Zayd done or done?
Done.
Wow. I was impressed earlier, but now you just disappointed me. Tayyib. Zaydun, because it's the opposite of inna. Your blood's up in here, man. Come on. Tayyib. Jamilan or Jamilun?
Lan.
Lun.
Jamil.
Lan.
Jamilan. Opposite. Right?
I changed my answer.
Whatever inna does, kana does the opposite. Right? So, now, inna Zaydan Jamilun, kana Zaydun Jamilan. Tayyib? So this gives you 2 of the mansubat. Easy. Right? Low-hanging fruit. There are 11 mansubat. And you got 3 easily. Inshallah, the rest will be that easy too. Tayyib. Ism, inna, and khabar, can. So these are 3 mansubat. Got it? Faddal.
Is there any difference in the meaning in both of these sentences?
Yes. So inna is for emphasis. Kana is usually used for past tense or continuous tense. Depends on how you use it, right? So if you're talking about Zayd, somebody in the past, you can say Kana Zaydun Jamila. But if you're just trying to emphasize, then you say Inna Zaydan Jamilun. Kana has a lot of meanings too. This is a very deep subject, inshallah, but I'm giving you a very base and easy meaning, inshallah. Tayyib? So, from the mansubat, what do you have now? Excellent.
إلا تنصروه فقد نصره الله